Welcome back, friends. This is Sachin from Team Decipher, and in today's lecture, we'll be discussing about the political organization which were prevalent before the establishment of Congress. Okay. The political associations in early half of 19th century were dominated by wealthy and aristocrat elements. These were local or regional in character, and through long petitions to British Parliament they demanded the administrative reforms, association of Indians with the administration, and spread of education. In the second half, we talked about the first half, early half of the 19th century. In the second half of the 19th century, it witnessed the growth of national political consciousness and foundation and growth of organizational national movement. During this period, modern Indian intelligentsia created the political institution. Now, what happened in earlier half? It were the wealthy and aristocrat elements, and now the place has been taken over by the modern Indian intelligentsia. Okay. Now, this political associations, they were to spread political education and to initiate political work in the country. This work was to be based upon new political ideas, new intellectual perception of reality, new social, economic and political objective, new force of struggle and resistance, and new technique of political organization. The task was difficult. Why? As you know, the Indians were unfamiliar with the modern political work. Even the notion that people could organize politically in opposition to their rulers was a very novel and very new concept in those days. Consequently, the work of these early associations and of early political workers proceeded rather slowly, and it took more than half a century to bring the common people within the fold of modern politics. Reason being, as I told you earlier, this was quite a new idea. So any new idea, whenever it takes on a national level a shape it was taking, this process was rather slow in the earlier days, because जैसे आज है, you got social media, you got newspaper, you got TV press, you got print media. So today you are more educated as the people were in the earlier days. So any idea which is spreading, you can easily follow that. You can choose what is right, what is wrong. You know it's ABC, but in earlier days it was quite altogether a very new thing for the Indian public. So it took quite a time to move forward. And okay, the political association of the second half of the 19th century, as I told you, it was dominated by the educated middle class. They were lawyers, journalists, doctors, teachers. They had I must say they had a wider perspective and a larger agenda rather than these wealthy and aristocratic elements. Okay. They have also learned their lessons from the failure of revolt of 1857. It actually made it clear that the traditional political resistance to the British rule under the leadership of landed upper class could no longer succeed, and resistance to colonial rule must flow through the different channel. On the other hand, the character of British rule and policies underwent a major change after 1858, because they brought out that that new declaration, Viceroy, the military, the administrative change, and so many, the Council of 1861, Council Act of 1861. So administration and the India was controlled directly by the British Crown, not by any company as such. So there were changes. So since the British rule and policies, they underwent a major change after 1858, it became more reactionary actually, and Indian intellectuals gradually became more critical of British policies, and they began to grasp the exploitative character of British rule, that what actually British are doing with them. Okay, so understanding of the Indian intelligentsia took quite a time to develop the process, but once this process was begun, based on as it was on modern thought, it probed actually deeper in the real nature of imperialism, and it was ultimately transformed into modern political activity. The political conscious Indians, they realized that existing political associations were too narrowly conceived to be useful in changed circumstances, since circumstances are changed. So these wealthy and aristocratic elements, the political parties they are forming, they will not be fulfilling the agenda of large Indian public mass. So this idea was changing. For example, British Indian Association, BIA, British Indian Association, had increasingly identified itself with the interest of zamindars and consequently with the ruling power. The openly reactionary and anti-Indian measures introduced under Lord Lytton's viceroyalty from 1876 to 1880, this was like a black period, because Lord Lytton was, I would say, infamous for his reactionary policies and steps he was taking against the Indians in Bengal. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, the pioneer man, he was one of the first Indian leaders to start an agitation for political reforms. For political reforms, he fought for the freedom of press, trial by jury, separation of executive and judiciary, appointment of Indians to the higher offices in the government services, protection of riots from zamindari oppression, and development of Indian trade and industry. He took keen interest in international affairs and supported the cause of liberty, democracy, and liberalism. Okay. The Bang Bhasha Prakashika Sabha, it was formed in 1836, and it was formed by the associates of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Associates of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. So we are talking about the early political associations in Bengal, and Bang Bhasha Prakashika Sabha was one of them. And it was founded by associates of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, who was himself a pioneer in political awakening of the people of intelligentsia in Bengal. Now, British India, this was the second, another political association in British India. British Indian Association, alias Landholders Society plus British India Society. Let's learn about this little history of this British India Association. What happened? The Zamindari Association, more popularly known as Bengal Landholders Society, it was founded in 1836 by Dwarkanath Tagore. Two more people was with him, Prasanna Kumar Tagore and Radhakante. Why this landholder societies was formed? It was basically formed to safeguard the interest of the landlords. Although it was limited in its objectives, the landholders society marked the beginning of an you can say an organized political activity and use of methods of constitutional agitation for redressal of grievances. The second component of British Indian Association was British India Society. It was set up in 1853 in England, not in India, but in England, primarily as a result of efforts of Mr. William Adam. No, actually, Mr. William Adam, he came to India and he became a friend with Raja Ram Mohan Rai. So on his return to England, he took up India's cause. Okay, I will enlighten the British people about India's plight, the actual Indian condition. Its objective was, this British India Society's objective was, you can say, the collection and dissemination of information relating to the actual condition of people of British India, and to employ such other means of peaceful and lawful character as may appear calculated to secure the welfare, extend the just rights, and advance the interests of all classes of our fellow subjects. This was written in the Charter of British East India Societies. What happened in 1851? Both Landholders Society and Bengal British India Society merged into to form a final entity called as British Indian Association. What this association did, it sent a petition to the British Parliament to demand inclusion of some of its suggestions in the renewed charter of the company, and the demand which was they were establishment of separate legislature, and separation of executive, the same demand which actually Raja Ram Mohan Rai raised earlier, executive from judicial functions. And third was reduction in salary of higher officials. And it also demanded, which became the reason for Dandi March later on, the salt duty. It asked for the abolition of salt duty. Okay. These were these demands which this association sent through the petition. These were partially accepted when the Charter Act of 1853, it provided for addition of 6 members to the Governor General's Council for the legislative purpose. So they demanded that the Indians should have more representation. And during the early years, the activities of the association, this British Indian Association, that actually consisted mainly of submission of petitions to the government and to the British Parliament, that we are having these sort of grievances, and the redressal they seek, that in the form of these petitions they sent to. There was an inherent trust in the good intentions of the rulers. What these members of these association, what they felt, that actually British people are good. The only thing why Indians are in misery, just because they do not about the real condition of Indian people. So let's make them understand the actual condition of Indian people. So that is why I'm saying that these people, they were having an inherent trust in the British, that they people are having good intentions towards their Indian subjects. But the association sought to take up issues on behalf of all sections of society, but occasionally it made conscious efforts to protect the right of the landed aristocracy. So again, it was, leaning its interest toward the aristocratic entities and elite section of the country of those times. They had no constructive policy. This is the criticism of this association and the early associations. They had no constructive policies, and nor they laid down any program for systematic actions for the political advancement of the country. It had failed to cover the country with a network of branches. Okay, though they formed the branches, but they were so much local in their character and local in their functionality as well. In 1857, the association supported the East India Company in the Sepoy Mutiny. They called that stern punishment should be given to the rebels. Okay, Now, the other such association was in the earlier Bengal, the East Indian Association. The East India Association was organized by Dadabhai Naroji. He was called as the Grand Old Man of India in 1867 in London. It was established to discuss the Indian question and influence the public man in England to promote the Indian welfare. Okay. Later, branches of association were started in prominent Indian cities. It was one of the predecessor organizations of Indian National Congress in 1867. Its idea was to present the correct information to the of India about India to the British public and voice the Indian grievances. So you can see that again this East India Association was also having the same philosophy that Britishers are as such good. They are just unaware about the Indian conditions. So let them make aware about the Indian plight. But nevertheless, this association was instrumental in counteracting the propaganda by the Ethnological Society of London, which in its session in 1866, they tried to prove the inferiority of the Asians to the Europeans. What this ethnological, let me write it for you. Ethnological Society of London. They people actually tried to prove the inferiority of Asians to the Europeans and making them as projecting them as a superior race. This association soon won our Indian East Indian Association. It soon won the support of eminent Englishmen and was able to exercise a considerable influence in the British Parliament. In 1869, this organization opened branches in Bombay, Kolkata, and Madras. Like I told you earlier, our previous organization, British India Association, it was a little local in character, but the East India Association, it took an initiative and it opened the branches on pan-India basis, at least not pan-India basis, then at least in the metros and big cities of those times. It became defunct in 1880s and later on, Indian League and Association of Calcutta, the Indian National Association. This was started by Shishir Kumar Ghosh with the object of Shishir Kumar Ghosh. We'll learn about him a little. The objective of this Indian League was to stimulating the sense of nationalism amongst the people and encouraging the political education. Now, let's learn a little bit about Shishir Kumar Ghosh. He was noted Indian journalist and he was founder of Amrit Bajar Patrika. He was a noted Bengali, this Amrit Bajar Patrika was a noted Bengali language newspaper in 1868. Shishir Kumar Ghosh, he lived most of his time in Shantiniketan, West Bengal, where he was a professor of English. Okay. The next was Indian Association of Calcutta, in fact, Indian National Association is. It was superseded this Indian League actually. What happened? This was founded in 1876 by a younger nationalist of Bengal led by Surendranath Banerjee, Anand Mohan Bose, and it was getting discontented. These two people were getting discontented with the conservative and pro-landlord policies of British India Association, the earlier association which we learned about. And who was Anand Mohan Bose? He was a member of actually Brahmo Dharma. The young member of Brahm Samaj differed with the Keshav Chand Sen regarding the matters like child marriage or running of organization. The way he was, he was little autocratic in plans and his way of running the organization and various other matters. As a result, on May 15th, 1878, Anand Mohan Bose, along with Shivnath Shastri, Shiv Chandra Dev, and Umesh Chandra Datta and others, they founded Sadharan Brahma Samaj. And Anand Mohan Bose was elected its first president. Okay. Now, this Indian Association of Kolkata, it was most important of the the pre-Congress association, as it aimed to reform civil services examination. The association that sent Surendranath Banerjee as a special delegate to the other part of the country for support of this agitation, and he actually became the first Indian to gain all India popularity, the pan-India popularity. This association also created strong public opinion on political questions, and they unified the Indian people on a common political program. They said that every legitimate political means or intellectual means and material advancement of people should be done in order to bring nationalism, pan-Indian nationalism, on a larger platform. Now, branches of this association were opened in other towns and cities of Bengal and even outside Bengal. The membership fees was kept so low, so in order to attract the poorer section of the towards the association, so they were actually making their roots a little strong, and they were including a larger mass. This Indian National Association was first avowed nationalist organization founded in British India. The association attracted educated Indians and civic leaders from all parts of country. It later merged with the Indian National Congress, and now we shall see a little bit about political association in Bombay and political association in Madras. In 1852, the Bombay Native Association was founded by Jagannath Shankar Seth as the first political party, and Pune Sarvajanik Sabha in 1870, it was founded by Mahadev Govind Ranade, Justice Ranade, G.V. Joshi and others. The object of this Pune Sarvajanik Sabha was to serve as a bridge between the government and the people, and Sabha carried the active political education for next 30 years or so. The Bombay Presidency Association, it was started by Badruddin Tayyabji. And Firoz Shah Mehta, he was a stalwart of Congress stalwart, and K.T. Telang. They are important name and maybe as in pre, and this organization was founded in 1885. The Bombay Presidency Association. Political associations in Madras was Madras Native Association, like the Bombay Native Association. It was the first political party in Madras Presidency, and Madras Mahajan Sabha was founded in 1884 by Virar Gavachari, P. Subramaniam and P. Ananda Chadu. So friends, we have seen and discussed about these early pre-Congress political associations, and in next lecture discussion we'll be dealing about the birth of Congress, whether its birth was having some genesis in safety valve theory, or it was all myth, what was the reality about the birth of Indian National Congress. Till then, keep watching, and we wish you to visit our website decipherias.com for more stuff. Till then, stay healthy, keep studying, and good luck. Thank you.